Okay, today we're doing the same thing we finished up last week, which is pretty much just all of the steps together. So, breaking it down, the best thing to do is to look at each side one at a time. So remember, I use my sticky note to separate my two sides, and then I do parentheses first, which means parentheses you multiply. 8 times 2w is 16w. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Then we would do squares and circles. Well, the only square here would be 16w, and the only circle would be negative 16. So it literally just copies it down. On the right side, 7 times 3w is 21w. 7 times 2 is 14. And again, the only square would be 21w, and the only circle would be 14. Now, was it necessary to write it twice? No, I'm just showing you that technically that's where the squares and circles step would be. Then it moves on to 8th grade stuff. Well, since it's positive 21, I'm going to subtract 21. 16 minus 21 is negative 5w. I bring down that negative 16 and the 14. Now I'm going to change negative 16 to positive 16, and 14 plus 16 is 30. But then remember your last step, if you play your cards right, is always divide. 30 divided by negative 5 is negative 6. Again, I'm going to skip around just because I want you to see what the most difficult would be, even though it's not really hard. Let's look at number 3. So again, we're going to separate our left side from our right side. Let's look at the left side. So here, I'm going to multiply by negative 1. That means I need to bring down the 5x. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. Negative 1 times negative 18 is positive 18. Then I look at my squares and circles. Well, my squares here would be 5x and negative 1, which when I add them is 4x. The only circle would be plus 18, so I bring that down. Then I look at the right side. Again, I'm going to multiply by negative 2, so I have to bring the 6 down. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 15 is negative 30. The only square on the right side would be negative 2x, and the circles would be 6 and negative 30. Well, 6 plus negative 30 is negative 24. And then I repeat 8th grade again. So negative 2, I'm going to make positive 2. 4 plus 2 is 6x. I bring down the 18. I bring down the negative 24. My next step is to change positive 18 to minus 18. And then negative 24 minus 18 is negative 40. Or nope, sorry, negative 48, negative 42. And again, if you play your cards right, you shouldn't get any decimals, and your last step should always be division. So negative 42 divided by 6 is negative 7. Look at number 4. Again, I'm going to use my sticky note as the line to separate. I'm going to multiply first. So here, there's 2 parentheses. 8 times y is 8y. 8 times 4 is 32. Here, I multiply by negative 2. Negative 2 times y is negative 2y. And negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Then I do my squares. So 8y and negative 2y is 6y. 32 and 2 is positive 34. Then I do the right side, but what's weird about the right side is there's no parentheses. The only square would be negative 3y, and the only circle would be positive 7, so I'm going to put plus 70, okay? And the only reason I want to rearrange that is so I can do the step properly, but if you didn't need to rearrange it, that's fine too. Then we're back to 8th grade, so since it's negative 3, I'm going to add 3. 6y plus 3y is 9y. Plus 34 and 7d. Since it's positive 34, I'm going to subtract 34. And then 7d minus 34 is 36. Again, my last step is divide. 36 divided by 9 is 4. And it gets pretty repetitive, so I'm going to finish the last 2. If you look at number 5, again, I'm going to draw that line down the middle, like y'all are so used to doing. On the left side, I'm going to multiply 7 times p, which is 7p, 7 times 3, which is 21, and then I bring down that plus 9. The only square would be 7p, and the circles would be 21 and 9, which would add to get 30. On the right side, 5 times p is 5p, 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, and then I bring down that negative 3p. I have 2 squares here. I have 5p and negative 3p. Well, that's 2p. The only circle I have is negative 10. And then again, we're back to 8th grade. Since it's positive 2p, I'm going to subtract 2p. And 7p minus 2p is 5p. I bring down the plus 30 and the negative 10. I'm going to change the positive 30 to negative 30. Negative 10 plus, or I'm sorry, negative 10 minus 30 is negative 40. And then again, my last step is divide. So negative 40 divided by 5 is negative 8. And there's only one more. Number 6, again, I'm going to draw that line down the equal sign. 9 times k is 9k. 9 times negative 4 is negative 36, and I bring down that negative 7k. My two squares are 9k and negative 7k, which when I add them equals 2k. The only circle would be negative 36. And then on the right side, since I'm going to multiply by negative 2, I'm going to bring down the 32. Negative 2 times k is negative 2k. Negative 2 times 8 is negative 16. The square, and the only square, is negative 2k. And the circles is 32 and negative 16. 32 plus negative 16 is positive 16. Then I do 8th grade again. Since it's negative 2k, I'm going to add 2k. 2k plus 2k is 4k. I bring down that negative 36, and I bring down the 16. Since it's negative 36, I'm going to add 36. And then 16 plus 36 is 52. And then your last step is divide. 52 divided by 4 is 13. And there you go.